Hello, my dear friends. Welcome to science class. In last lecture, we have started our new chapter in chemistry part, that is chapter number 1, matter in our surroundings. In last lecture, we have seen what is matter. We have seen that everything around us are made up with some material, and we call this material as matter. Everything around us means everything from air, gases like gaseous structure, to solid structure like earth, sun, planets, this table, laptop, everything is made up of matter. After that, we have started some properties of material, or say matter, properties of matter. In this lesson, we will discuss about physical property of matter. Physical property of matter. In last lecture, we started physical nature of matter. In that, we discussed matter is made up of particles. Matter is made up of particles. And we did one activity. What we do? We take one beaker filled with the water and dilute salt into that water or sugar into that water, and we notice that water level did not change, which means that particles of salt get displaced, or we can say get placed between water particles. So here in figure we can see this. The salt particles are placed between water particles. So we can say that there is a space between particles of matter. When we dissolve salt in water, the particles of salt get into the space between particle of water. Now, this is clear that the particle of salt can arrange in between particle of matter, water. It means that salt particles may smaller than water particles. Now we want to know that how much small these particles are. Now our topic is how small are these particle of matter. Let's understand it by activity number 1.2. Take 2 to 3 crystals of potassium permanganate and dissolve them into 100 ml of water. We have to take 2 to 3 crystals of potassium permanganate and dissolve it into 100 ml of water. What will happen? The water gets pink type of color, shade on pink type of color. Now from this 100 ml, we take approximately 10 ml of this solution and put this solution into another beaker which has 90 ml of water. What will we do? We take 10 ml of solution and put it into 90 ml of water. Now we can see that this 90 ml of water, which is not colored before, is seem colored now. Now we repeat this process. Now again we take 10 ml of solution from the second beaker, and what we do? We took another 90 ml water and pour it into that 90 ml of clear water. We can see that this solution also gets colored. So what will happen? Keep diluting the solution like 5 to 8 times. we have to repeat this process 5 to 8 times. Is the water still colored? Yes. If we repeat this process 5 to 10 times, we can observe that we can have color of water still after repeating 8 or 10 times. But what will happen? You can see here the color of solution is now fade away. The color is fading. Here we can see the bright color. Here the color is being light. So the concentration of potassium permanganate is decreasing, but still there is a lots of small particles in final beaker also. They are dividing into smaller particles, more smaller particles, more smaller particles. So in this way they are dividing. Estimating how small are the particles of matter with every dilution. Though the color become light, it is still visible. As we discussed that color become light, but it is still visible. This experiment show that just a few crystal of potassium permanganate can color a large volume of water, about 1,000 liters. Few crystal, 4 to 5 crystals can color up to 100 ml of 100 liters of water. So we conclude that there must be millions of tiny particles in one crystal of potassium permanganate. We can derive from this activity that there is a millions of particles. There are millions of particles of potassium permanganate in that crystal. So they are dividing as we dilute it, which keep on dividing themselves into smaller and smaller particles. Ultimately, a stage is reached when the particles cannot divide further into smaller particles. And one stage will come when particle cannot further divide into another particles. The same activity can be done using 2 ml of Dettol instead of potassium permanganate. We are familiar about Dettol, which gives whitish color when we drop Dettol into water. We can repeat this process by Dettol also, and we can derive or we can conclude the same conclusion. The smell can be detected even on repeated dilution. We can see color also. We can see fade color of water, and we can also smell it. And until and unless we have minor smell of that Dettol in final dilution, it means that there is a particle of Dettol in that solution, because then only smell can come from that solution. So by smell also we can perform this activity. So here we have the particles of matter are very small. They are small beyond our imagination. So we can conclude that the particles of matter are very, very, very small. They are so small that we cannot imagine. Now we have characteristic of particles of matter. Now we have another topic, characteristic of particles of matter. First characteristic, particles of matter have space between them. Particle of matter have space between them. If you can remember, we can reach to this result by previous activity when we dilute salt into water and potassium permanganate into water. So here we have same thing. In activities 1.1 and 1.2, we saw that particles of sugar, salt, Dettol or potassium permanganate got evenly distributed in water. They are evenly distributed in water. When we drop potassium permanganate crystal into water and stir it, what will happen? The water will colored continuously. That will not happen that right side of portion will get more color, left side of portion get less color. If we stir it properly, the whole solution will be colored equally. So there is a sentence here, evenly distributed in water. Similarly, if we make solution of salt or sugar and stir it well, what will happen? From every part we get same sweetness if we put sugar in water. If we stir it properly until whole sugar will dilute into water, what will happen? The sweetness of water will be same everywhere in water. That will be not possible that upper part of water will be more sweet and lower part of water will be less sweet. That will not happen, which means that they are distributed evenly in water. Similarly, when we make tea, coffee or lemonade, say nimbu pani, particles of one type of matter get into the space between particle of other type of matter. What will happen when we make tea, coffee, lemonade? Particle of one matter gets into particle of another matter, which means if here I have in previous lecture we have take example of school bench. If we have sufficient large bench and we have two students at each corner, we can have space between them, so one more student can sit between these two students. So we can say that there is a space between these two particles if one particle arrange between this another two particle. This show that there is enough space between particles of matter. There is enough space between particle of matter. In previous years, say 3 or 5 decades ago or 100 years ago, we have not that much highly powerful equipment that we can see that particular atom, molecule, particle of matter. Now we have technology that we can see that yes, the particles have space between them. But long time ago, we have not that kind of powerful scientific equipments. These results are from decades ago. And from where this result came, we discussed in previous lecture that these results are derived from experiment. We do experiment and conclude some important result. So these all are from experiment. But nowadays we have such kind of powerful equipment that we can see this kind of smaller particles also. In your higher standard, you will study in more detail about this minor particles. Particles of matter are continuously moving. Now we have another characteristic of particle, that particles of matter are continuously moving. Let's do one activity to understand this property. Put unlit incense stick in corner of your class. How close do you have to go near it so as to get its smell? If we have one unlit incense stick and we put in corner of the room, what will happen? We cannot get smell of, or we cannot get fragrance of that incense stick. If we want to smell it, that unlit incense stick, we have to go somewhat near, or if that essence is not that much powerful, we have to, what we have to do, we have to take it close to our nose to smell it. But now we light that incense stick, what will happen? It will burn, gases come out from it, and if we burn it and put it in the corner of room, we can smell it from another corner of room also. What will happen when we light incense stick? Something like that. This, when we light incense stick, what will happen? This fumes get moved to in direction of wind, in wind direction only. These fumes get moved, so it spreads smell. These fumes get spreads smell, so we can get smell from distance of this light incense stick. So we have smell. Same experiment here. Record your observation. What is our observation? We can see that when incense stick was unlit, there is no smell from far distance. But when we light that incense stick, what will happen? We can get smell from distance also. So what will happen at that time? The particles of incense stick gets kinetic energy by heat. Here we can see, and now we are familiar with the kinetic energy. Here we can see these fumes are moving, which means that it has kinetic energy due to its motion. Now we are familiar with the kinetic energy. So it has much more kinetic velocity or kinetic energy. So it can travel more distance. So this heat get converted to kinetic energy and we can smell it by far distance. Now another activity. Take two glasses or beaker filled with water. Put a drop of blue or red ink slowly and carefully along the side of one first beaker and honey in the same way the second beaker. What we have to do? We have to take two glasses or beaker, fill this beaker with water, and in one beaker we put few drops of ink. It may be blue or red, and in another beaker we put drop of honey. So we can see that leave them undisturbed in your house or in corner of the class. Record your observation. What will happen when we put ink drop in water? What will happen? We can see this kind of things. What will happen? The ink will spread in water. Ink will spread in water in fraction of seconds, in few seconds. But what will happen to honey? Honey will not spread in water in that much low time. It will take some time. So ink gets sprayed fast compared to honey. But we can observe that it can spread into water. What do you observe immediately after adding the ink drop? We seen by animation that ink drop will dilute or dissolve into water. How many hours? What do you observe immediately after adding a drop of honey? Drop of honey will not dissolve or get dilute into water that immediately. How many hours or days does it take for a color of ink to spread evenly throughout the water? It will take hardly few minutes or few seconds depending on ink. It will not take any hours or days. We have another activity. Drop a crystals of copper sulfate or potassium permanganate into a glass of hot water and another containing cold water. We have two glasses with water. In one glass we have hot water and one glass we have cold water. We drop the crystals of copper sulfate or potassium permanganate. Why copper sulfate and potassium permanganate? Because they have color. So we can see in them spreading in the water. Now we drop the copper sulfate into both these glasses. One have hot water and one have cold water. What do you observe just above the solid crystal in the glass? Now do not stir the solution. Allow the crystals to settle at the bottom. Now we have to remember that in this activity we do not have to stir the water. Allow the crystal to remain at the bottom of the water. What will happen? We can see that if time passes, the droplet or say crystals of potassium permanganate will dilute into water. In both glasses, it can dilute or dissolve into water. But in water with in glass, we have hot water. It will dissolve faster compared to dissolve into cold water. What happened as the time passed? We discussed. What does this suggest about the particle of solid and liquid? What does this suggest about the particle of solid and liquid? We can see that if there is a hot water, means if there is a more temperature, the particles get more kinetic energy, or in less temperature, particles have less kinetic energy. But they have kinetic energy, means they have motion, which means they are continuously moving, which means particles of any substance continuously moving. So we have property that particles of matter moves continuously. From the above three activity 1.3, 1.4 and 1.5, we can conclude following. Now we have to remember this, the conclusion. Particles of matter are continuously moving. That is, they possess what we called as kinetic energy. Now we are familiar with the kinetic energy. Kinetic energy is nothing but the energy due to motion of particles, object, anything. As the temperature rises, particles move faster. We can see in the last activity that potassium permanganate get dilutes into hot water faster compared to cold water. So we have the point, as the temperature rises, the particles move faster. So we can say that with increase in the temperature, kinetic energy of particles also increase. Important point, increase in the temperature, we can have increase in the kinetic energy of particle. So here we have conclusion. Particles of matter are continuously moving, and due to that it has kinetic energy, and as temperature increases this kinetic energy increases, or we can say that motion of this particle, movement of this particle increases. In the above three activities, we observe that the particle of matter intermix on their own with each other. In all three activities, we have seen that these particles are intermixed with each other. They do so by getting into the spaces between the particles. How they intermix? If there is a particles of one matter, there is a space between them, and the particles of other matter will get in between these particles of first matter. So we can say that they are intermixing by getting into space between the particles. We have to note that by getting into the space between the particles, they are intermixing. These intermixing of particles of two different types of matter on their own is called diffusion. Here we have another terminology called diffusion. What is diffusion? Intermixing of particles of two different type of matter on their own is called diffusion. Again, intermixing of particles of two different types of matter on their own is called diffusion. We also observed that on heating, diffusion become faster. We have to remember this. On heating, by giving the heat energy, diffusion become faster. Why does this happen? Because by giving heat, the particles of matter gets energy, and by getting this energy, they have more energy to settle between another particles of matter. So we have one term called as diffusion, and here we have definition of diffusion. Now another thing, particles of matter attract each other. This is very important property. Particles of matter attract each other. To understand this, we have one activity. Play this game in the field. Make your 4 groups and form a human chain as suggested. We have to form human chain. How? The first group should hold each other from the back and lock arms like Bihu dancer. Here we have photo of Bihu dancer. In Bihu dance, what will happen? They create human chain by hand on back of another person. Like this we have to form chain for first group. The second group should hold hand, form a human chain, and second group should hold a hand and form a human chain, and the third group should form a chain by touching each others with only their fingertip, and by third group they have to form a group or human chain by touching their fingertips like this. Now we have 3 human chain with different bonds. Now the fourth group of students should run around and try to break the 3 human chains one by one. Now what we have to do? Now the fourth remaining group should run around and try to break this group. Try to break this group. As many small group as possible, and they have to separate this group as small as possible. Which group was easiest to break? We can easily say that the third group can easily break because it has much lower contact, much lower attraction, or say no attraction, because by touching fingerprint we have no force or no strength here. Second group, in which they are holding hands, we have much force here. And the first group, when people have hands in back, they are much closer to each other, more attraction between them, so it is hard to break. After that, we have another activity. Open a water tap. Try to breaking the stream of water with your finger. Now, if we have water coming from tap and we have to break this water, we can do like this. Sometimes we play with water like this, tap water. What will happen? Can we break that stream of water? Can we break that stream of water? No, we cannot break. As and when our finger move from that place, what will happen? They again attach to each other. They again attach to each other. Suppose we have water on the floor. We have water on the floor and there are much less distance between them. What will happen? If one end will be attached, you can see that whole line of water will be attached. Why this happened? Because particles of water or any matter have attraction between them. They attract each other. Were you able to cut the stream of water? As we discussed that we cannot cut the stream of water. What could be the reason behind the stream of water remains together? We have seen that there is a force of attraction between the particles of matter. The above three activities 1.6, 1.7 and 1.8 suggest that particles of matter have force acting between them. The particles of matter have force acting between them. This force keeps the particle together, and this force keeps the particle together. The strength of this force of attraction varies from one kind of matter to another kind of matter. And the attractive force between these matter particles will be vary from matter to matter. Some material or matter have more attractive force, some has less attractive force. So there is a difference in strength of attraction force between these particles of matter.